Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I've said that I would cover the changes in the game after the real stream, but oh boy, that was a lot to process. So in this one, I will try to summarize most of the changes that are to come in 3.25. I won't go over these in an orderly fashion, because Mark already does a great job explaining them. I will start with the ones that I'm most hyped about. Now, let's get to it. We finally have gold in PathofExile. We will use this extensively in the league mechanic. We can use it to respec our passive tree. But the best part is we have an auction house, a marketplace, or whatever you want to call, for currency trading. This system is not just only for the currency stash tab, but for pretty much all the stackable items, as you can see right here. It also shows you the market ratio of the item, reducing the dependency on third-party programs. This solves a huge problem with the trading system in PoE, because it was a pain to trade these types of items. I'm still happy that they're keeping the all trade system, player-to-player interactions for gear. You can also still use it for currency, but I don't think anyone will, as long as the system works just fine. Now, before anyone says that there will be bots, we already had bots in the game. But now, on the contrary, it will be much harder to price fix items for the simple fact that you can no longer list an item at a lower price and hold it without selling. Also, there's a gold fee for each transaction, and gold is not tradable. So we have a less likely scenario in which the market crashes due to an exploit as it did in last epoch. But I will cover that in another video. By the way, you don't have to worry if you're a map blaster, because you don't have to interact with the league mechanic to use this. You can invite Faustus to your hideout and use the system there. I just love everything about the league mechanic. I love city building and managing, and this is just another game inside of PathofExile. Sure, it uses real time for a lot of things, but fortunately you don't have to be online for them to keep progressing. And also you can queue a lot of jobs so that you don't have to constantly log in like a mobile game. It's really amazing what they have done. And in this mechanic, we have two crafting systems. Recombinators are back. I didn't play during that league, but it looks quite fun and strong to be able to craft like this. However, the Runesmithing bench is where it's at. You will be able to enchant your items with a modifier that only exists in unique items. And there are over 100 of these modifiers, so I'm really excited to see the end results that will come out of this. Now you can have your workers run maps for you. This will be great for those bricked maps that you can't run yourself. Gladiator is reworked completely. Now it really specializes in bleed and using retaliation skills. And these skills are a new addition to the game, and they have certain conditions for you to be able to use them. Some require blocking, while others require dual wielding or using a shield. We also have some modifiers on the tree, as well as a new support gem. Raider Ascendancy class is completely removed from the game. Now we have the Warden Ascendancy to replace it. This one specializes in all forms of elemental damage, elemental ailments, and tinctures. Yes, tinctures are back from the Affliction League, and they work a bit different. They are no longer permanently active, and now they burn your mana and have cooldowns if you deactivate them. You can reduce this mana burn per second with the tree or through the Warden Ascendancy. You can only use tinctures with melee weapons, but with Warden, you can also use them with ranged weapons. And the Frenzy Charge from the Raider Ascendancy have been moved to Deadeye, removing Rupture and turning it into a support gem. As we expected, melee totem skills have been removed from the game, and a lot of melee skills have been buffed in return to make up for the damage loss from the totems. Banners no longer have reservations, but they also do not give you a consistent aura. You need to place them to benefit from the effects. I've seen some people saying that, so banners are the new totems now. No, they're not. It's far from it. Because totems will die instantly in a boss fight, they had less area of effect, and the placement time was awful. Banners, on the other hand, are instantly placed and have none of these problems. As for the defensive changes in the game, Determination and Grace have been nerfed, but now we have new item bases that provide more defenses. They also increased life modifiers that we can get from gear. We can have 189 life from the body armor. That is insane, if you ask me. Also, they changed the Essence of Greed in accordance with this, but they nerfed the life mastery for maximum life from 50 to 30. However, they did not touch the one that grants 15% maximum life if there are no life modifiers on the body armor. I still need to see the numbers, but it's pretty much useless now, in my opinion, unless you have to play with a unique body armor with no life modifiers. Endurance charges have been changed. They no longer grant elemental resistance per charge, but now they grant additional elemental damage reduction. Of course, physical damage reduction still exists per charge. Physical damage taken as elemental has been nerfed. Most of the damage conversion modifiers have been removed from the game, including Grave Issues and Corel Crafts from the Betrayal, Taste of Hate modifier, and Watcher's Eye modifiers for Purity Auras and nodes on the Lethal Pride. We still have Eldritch Implicit for the body armor, and uniques such as Lightning Coil, Dawnbreaker, and Cloak of Flame for physical damage conversion. And with these changes, we can get more maximum resistances from the tree and now from the jewels. Base critical strike chance of wands and daggers has been increased. With the buffs to the most melee skills, they now have increased mana usage. They have added new passives for reduced mana cost on the tree. The damage that we would get from Rage is increased, but Berserk is heavily nerfed. It no longer grants attack damage, movement, and attack speed per Rage. Now it only increases Rage effect, in other words, damage. So in total, I guess we would have less attack speed and hit harder compared to before. And with the reduced mana cost, mana shouldn't be too much of a problem. Also, there are some changes to Berserker, Chieftain, and Juggernaut Ascendancies, but I won't cover them since I'm not really well informed in these ones. You can check them yourself in the patch notes, but we will return to the champion. Magic Finders will be a bit sad, but quantity is removed from all the items. You can now only stack rarity. Maybe they will find another way once the league starts. We can still encounter Seer in the maps. If we do so in T16 or T17 maps, we can scry a map, mirroring its divination card drops to another map. But we can't scry the same map more than once. Still, being able to drop Apothecary in Cows or Racecourse should be quite fun. Since quality provides 20% more damage on weapons and 20% more defenses on armors now, they have removed pretty much all the ways that you can modify quality up to 30%. Now we can only drop them like that. So I'm guessing they will be really expensive on the right basis. The King of the Mist makes a comeback with Ritual. It no longer drops that which was taken, but it drops Perandus Pact under the modified name of the Light of Meaning. I don't know if it kept all the modifiers, but we'll see once we start dropping these in the game. Certain league mechanics such as Wildwood from Affliction, Reflecting Mist from Kalandra, and Sentinel from, well, Sentinel, have come back as encounters. These won't be in every map, as far as I understand, and they will be random encounters. We have new chisels, as you can see. I'm really excited about the pack size one for Harvest. Now, One chisel applies 20% quality to white maps, 10% to yellow, and 5% to red and purple maps or T17s. We can also apply one type of chisel. It should be interesting. Also, allegedly, life and damage of the monsters in T17 maps are decreased by a lot. Now we can modify T17s with chisels and wall orbs on top of the chaos. Somehow you might say that, why would you corrupt a T17 map? But back to basics is removed. So by corrupting these maps, I guess we will have higher rewards and difficulty from the modifiers. Now let's check a few things in the patch notes. First and foremost, Detonate Dead is nerfed through Desecrate. Now the corpses that spawn when you use Desecrate are more likely to be the same as your Spectres. This makes it harder to spawn corpses with high maximum life. Also, the gem no longer benefits from the area level for corpse life after T13 maps. Maybe someone will figure a way to play DD, but for now it looks like a huge nerf. On the other hand, Archmage support, Ice Nova Frostbolts or Hexblast are not nerfed. Well, Hexblast's damage is reduced in earlier levels, but it's still the same at level 20. Now that wands have higher base critical strike chance, drop rate of the relic, Chains of Castigation has been reduced, thus making Sandstorm Visage more expensive or rare. But now there are a few things that you need to be careful about while playing casters. Because we no longer have easy access to endurance charges by automating Enduring Cry, because the call to arms, now called Auto Exertion, reserves 15% mana per cry it's supporting and no longer grants buffs or charges when used this way. And with the removal of most physical damage taken as elemental modifiers, it will be a bit harder to survive against physical damage. Also, Divine Blessing support is removed from the game. It only exists on March of the Legion, so you can no longer slap an aura to Divine Blessing and use it with Eldritch Battery. So keep these in mind if you want to play caster builds. Another indirect nerf goes to Explosive Arrow Champion, with the removal of the totem wheel on the south side of the tree, and with the 2 changes made to the champion Ascendancy, reducing 20 fortification to 15 and removing attack speed, armor and evasion rating, while fortified feels like a nerf to Explosive Arrow. But I guess you can still play it with Elementalist if you want. As I've said, most melee skills have been buffed, but added damage types, such as physical for Lacerate and cold damage for Frostblades, have been removed. You can check the rest of them in the patch notes. Basic melee strike animation has been improved. Now there's pretty much no discrepancy between the first and the second strike, so it should feel much better to play melee in the game. As expected, Adorned and Defiance of Destiny have been nerfed, also due to the changes to endurance charges. Eternal Damnation now has a new modifier that states you can no longer gain charges, but I guess you can bypass this with Ralakesh boots. Since they removed quantity, they added it to the game through different mechanics such as Essence and Delirium. Also now, Ultimatum monsters drop loot once again. And they finally fixed the one step ahead Trickster node for the T17 modifier that reduces action speed for each skill used. It was about time. I mean, we played a whole league without this getting fixed, but yeah, thank you, I guess. Okay, these are all the changes that I've wanted to take a look at, well, within my knowledge, and I tried to convey them to you as best as I could. I'm super hyped for the league, and I will try to put together a build myself. I've never played a bleed archetype in the game. Actually, I only played 2 melee builds before, Frostblades on Trickster and Bone Shatter on Slayer. So I'm leaning towards Gladiator with Lacerate as the main skill and Eviscerate for the retaliation one. If I can make something viable, I will definitely share it with you. One more thing before I end the video: if you want to check the new passive tree, You can find it on PoE Planner, but you can also opt in for the beta version of Path of Building and get the update for the current version of the tree. They still haven't added most things, but they're working quite fast. Huge respect for the developers of Path of Building community, and also to Neversink for the loot filter, and of course to Grinding Gear Games for this amazing looking league. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it if you liked the video. Comment down below what you think of the league and subscribe to the channel. It will help a lot. I will see you in the next video, and as always, have a good one.